What's up, everybody? You're listening to episode 8 of EBPR, Everything But Politics and Religion. We'll talk about things such as dating,
Yes, indeed.
lifestyle changes,
Uh-huh.
workplace microaggressions,
Unfortunately, yes.
or Cheeto Satan, aka 45, aka Sir Trumps-a-lot, and his recent trip to
Wait,
Japan. You know, when
wait.
he was like,
No. Not here. Not today. No.
but why?
Because this is everything but politics and religion. Come on, girl.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that one just this once, but next time, I don't know, I might have to go in a little bit.
Well, okay. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/EBPR podcast. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from, all available on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Awesome. Well, I'm Dez.
And I'm Jasmine. Let's start the show. Hello, Dez. How are you?
Hey, Jasmine. I'm doing well. Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Hanging in there, living life living.
I feel you. I'm doing about the same. I'm just over here kind of ruminating on a topic that's been plaguing me for a couple weeks now.
Really? Oh, Lord. What's up?
So, okay, I mean, there's obviously a long story behind this, but ultimately, I'm really just wondering how important is appearance in a relationship and or when dating?
That's like the topic that plagues all of us, unfortunately, right?
I know, right? So, anyway, here's the situation. A few weeks back, I meet an individual whose name is John, for all intents and purposes.
Is he a tenderoni?
He is a tenderoni, girl. You know, I like my tenderoni like I like my pepperoni, okay?
Ew.
Both things I should stay away from, really. But, you know, I meet him on Tinder and, he sends me a couple messages. We get to conversing. And everything's just kind of going well at first, based on his pictures that he selected for Tinder. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this dude is, pretty attractive. I'd say he's probably like an 8 or like a 7.5. Yeah, 7.5 or 8 out of 10. And he can hold a conversation. He's former military. He's got some things going for himself.
Okay. But
okay,
I was like, this sounds all great, but it's the but.
But long story short, he ended up asking me if I wanted to go out on a date, which I was totally down for because I'm like, listen, it's cuffing season. Shout out to episode 6.
Hey.
And I'm looking to put myself out there, meet some new people, do some cool things. And so I'm like down, right? Like, it's Saturday.
Let's do it.
I'm about 3-4 hours away from, going out and meeting this dude for coffee, followed by dinner and or whatever, just like kind of seeing where things went. But I happen to have his first and last name, and this is totally my bad because I had not creeped sooner.
Uh-oh.
But I decided to just kind of, peruse Facebook for a little bit prior to heading out on this date. And what I found after typing in his first and last name and maybe his middle initial, whatever, was that he was not a 7.5 or 8.
Oh.
Yeah, he was definitely more like a solid 4 at best.
Oh no, not a solid 4.
Yeah, a solid 4.
Wait, sorry. What made him the solid 4? Was it more close-ups of his face? Was it his style of dress? Was it... What was it that just took points off of his ranking?
A, B, C, all of the above.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was so clear after looking at his Facebook page that this man was strategically hitting angles for Tinder.
Oh.
He was posting only his best pictures, and ultimately he was just trying to, I'm not going to call it catfishing, but low-key, like, it kind of falls into that vein.
He was putting on a costume. He was making appearances.
He was definitely making some appearances because once you actually got into the nitty-gritty of his Facebook profile, I saw some very questionable things. There there were definitely some interesting outfit choices. I mean, there was everything from dad jeans, i.e. mom jeans that looked like dad put them on,
Oh my.
to,
Oh my.
yeah, to interesting.
Wait. Was there like decoration on like the butt pockets?
So okay, the butt pockets were not quite bedazzled, but they had kind of like that, that really thick denim look. It's not acid wash, but it's like that thick jean material that those jeans could last probably 33 years without
Yep.
anything happening to them.
Wow. Yeah, those is industrial denims.
Those industrial denims.
Oh.
Yeah, so there was that. There were some interestingly colored suits.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did he happen to be wearing a bucket hat?
Yes.
Oh no. Lord, take me now.
Yes, this was him. It was bad.
Why is it that everybody's 4 or downgrade on the scale involves someone wearing like industrial denim and or embellished denim, something on the butt, and unfortunate hat wear choices? Like why? Why is it all why? God, why? It's crazy that I was able to just pick those two out of the sky and that was correct.
Yeah. And in this case, I honestly feel like the reason, I mean, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. He was wearing a bunch of different hats, and I think it's because his head was an abnormal shape.
Oh, that's something to hide. Okay. Like Neo.
Yeah, so like Neo, except worse. So here I am, a couple hours away from this date, and I come across these unfortunate findings.
Mm-hmm.
And it just really led me to think and kind of wonder, like, are looks really important when dating? I mean, like, why? Like, why are they, or why aren't they? And like, where do I go from here?
That's like the ultimate question. You have the beauties in the eye of the beholder folks out there, and then you have the people that are just like, I only date 8s and above. So it's definitely on the forefront of everyone's mind. I can say that I don't go too far out of my range. Like looking at myself, I'm a solid like 7.5, 8. I got them things.
Ay.
So I know the tatas really help. Ew.
Ay.
I'm quite shapely. I got nice eyes and a nice smile. So I know what's working for me. So I try to stay like in that range. I'm not going after top 10s. My ego can't really take all that kind of rejection. But I also try not to slum it too much. And I hate that I even said that. I try not to go like too far down below my own ranking. But at the same time, I also know that I personally don't think that looks are everything. Like if you have a wonderful personality and you're funny and you love all the things that I love, like beauty fades. So I'm okay with investing in like the right person on the inside, sacrificing a little bit of the things on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. And I think that I've like come across a situation more than once, throughout my life and in dating, because there have been several times before where, I meet someone and they're not necessarily like an 8 or a 9, but I'm like, okay, you're attractive enough and you keep my attention. You're nice, you do X, Y, and Z. I like your personality. And that's kind of what the situation was with this guy, at least at first anyway. I was like, you're easy to talk to. Like, we can kind of be witty and combative in a fun way. So, like, I really like it. But I was just really, really put off and also shocked.
Wait, what were you shocked by?
I think I was just shocked by the fact that, well, that I hadn't done more research prior to agreeing to go out with this man in public. Because, like, literally, like, I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, okay, like, had I looked before, like, would I have given him a yes so quickly? Or would I have been so inclined to say, oh, yeah, let's go on a date? Like, would I have given it a second thought? And then also just shocked by how bad some of the photos got, right? Like, it started off with, like, this normal, decent-looking profile picture, and then just kind of, like, cascaded downward.
Oh gosh. Like down a waterfall, cascade down, just
Yeah, just like literally like just dropping from the sky, like down into the pit that the waterfall splashes into at the very end. Like I was just so disappointed and not heartbroken, obviously, because I don't give a damn about these hoes, but, you know, I just, yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. Have you ever, you say looks aren't everything, and I feel like that's the big thing. People are always like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like it's a lot easier to say that when you're not actually in that situation or when you're not faced with that and when you're comfortable with who you are and your appearance. So you know, giving yourself an 8, we'll say you're an 8. I think you're beautiful.
Thanks, boo.
You know.
You are too, girl. Yeah.
Thanks. Have you ever entered into a relationship or a situationship where you felt like the guy or person was just all right?
Yeah, I have a few times. Just because you know, like, there's so many just like societal things that people are just saying between the beauty is an eye in the beholder, which might just be the hashtag for today's episode. And then like the don't be so shallow. So I'm bouncing between the two. So like on the scale of things, there are times where I've just been on the don't be so shallow side of things and have downgraded. But of course, it was with people that I really liked on the inside from like my first appearances. So the guy that comes to mind initially is somebody that I dated while I was at college. While I was at Franklin. We took a guitar class together, and he wasn't like the typical guy that I go after. I kind of like him like dark and, well, not even necessarily dark. It's like I just like him like friend to the sun. We can say that friend of the sun. And thicker, just like more muscular, broader. Like I kind of like that. I'm into that. And yeah, and just has like a decent like outward appearance. Not necessarily like I'm dressed for a GQ magazine every day, but I also would not accidentally be mistaken for a homeless person on the regular.
Oh my god!
And he was kind of on that homeless person on the regular thing, but at the same time, we were broke college students, so we had, you know, the hoodies were in, so you were always wearing a hoodie. You were probably bound to spill something on it because you were rushing from Saga. Is that what we called it, Saga? So that, yeah,
Saga.
So like, yeah, I was like, I'm so old now. Was that what we called it? Oh Lord. But yeah, like, so there were some things I was just like, okay, like he wore like skater shoes.
Oh god.
Red flag.
No.
And I was just like, I can bypass that. Bloop. Bypassed it. And then like his jeans, he kind of had like ripped jeans at the bottom where they were kind of like, where they were like straight legs, but you didn't want to like bunch up, so they kind of like cut them like on the side, so they kind of like flared, like some on top of the shoe and some down low. You remember that. And then they were kind of long, so you kind of stepped on them, so they were a little frayed at the bottom. Like, this is like the mid 2000s, so this was kind of in, but it was quickly on its way out. So I was like, okay, I can also bypass that too. I'm just going to look from the knees up. Knees up. Face was okay. But at the same time, we had similar interests. We had a good time hanging with each other. I was in a sorority. He was kind of interested in a fraternity. So I was just like, look, we got this Greek life thing happening. Ooh. He lived off campus. I was kind of living off campus, or just like wrapped up living off campus. So I was just like, you know, like we have so much in common. Let's do this. And let me tell you how that ended up. Something that's completely agnostic of outside looks is just being ugly on the inside. He was rude. He was disgusting. He was just like a terrible, terrible human being. And that is something that it doesn't matter how you look on the outside, because you're just ugly on the inside. So
right. Okay.
I'm going to say, like, if I'm going to slum it on the outside, I for damn sure I'm not going to slum it on the inside. So he had to go.
I feel you.
He was rude. So rude. Okay, what about you? Have you entered into a past relationship, situationship that, you know, he was not the 8 that you are? He was 6 or lower, and did it go wrong? Did it go to the left a little bit? Is that why you were a little reluctant to jump into it with John? Yeah,
so, oh my god. I have, to use your lack of a better phrase, I should say, I've slummed it. Mm-hmm. I would say, like, my first serious boyfriend ever, and, like, we're talking high school days, right?
Oh, man.
Like, I definitely slummed it. Like, especially at that point, I was a solid 8.5, 9, you know what I'm saying, on a good day, when I combed my hair, did everything, whatever. And this dude was probably, like, a 4,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a 3.5. Like if we're being
Wow.
completely honest with the universe.
Okay.
And it was just funny because I had people such as like I had my family members even like I recognized that he was. I don't want to say beneath me. That makes me sound like a terrible person, but realistically, like he was kind of beneath me appearance wise.
He was not like conventionally beauty.
No, he was not conventionally anything. He was just
Oh.
like I'm not gonna lie, he was hit, and he had some very distinct features that kind of stuck out and made it even worse.
Oh my.
So it's like in addition to me recognizing that, I had my friends recognizing that, like, like, why are you talking to him? Or my family, when they finally found out that I was with somebody, they're like, oh, show us a picture, show us a picture. And I show them a picture, and they get that, oh, okay. And that's when somebody's ugly. Like when you show a picture of them to somebody and they're like, oh, okay. And they have nothing else to say. So, I've been in these situations before, and I've found myself when I'm in those situations constantly in my mind. It's like an internal battle, like coming back to, why am I with this person? Like, I'm better than this person, which you should never think that you're better than anybody. But, like,
Right.
realistically, if you know that you are of a certain caliber and the person that you're dating is not, like, it's like playing a mental game.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of all that, this person, too, had a horrible personality, like, horrific personality. It was whatever. It wasn't great. It ended for more reasons than him just being unattractive, but it ended. And I've been in a couple situations kind of similar to that, since. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt here and there, or I really like certain components of their personalities. And then I end up just kind of sticking around, even though they're not the most attractive people.
On the outside and the inside.
Yeah, on the outside and the inside. And that makes sense because, so in reading an article from eHarmony, these again are kind of like these dating experts or whatever. There were a few points that they made, that a person's personality, or excuse me, a person's appearance might not be everything, but they might have a quote compensating
Oh.
quality, meaning that their profession, financial status, family history, whatever, is such a strong attribute that it makes up for the lack of attraction that might otherwise be there and kind of like levels the playing field, if that makes sense.
No, it totally does. It totally does. So I have an article from Psychology Today that went into this 100%. And it seems as if, yeah, looks aren't everything, but people are looking for those other qualities like intelligence and fidelity. They also, all those things, in addition to outward appearance, go into making a happy mate and eventually a happy relationship. So the author was quoted as saying, like, even if a person selects a partner who was relatively, objectively, unattractive, it may be that the partner is high on a wealth of other desirable characteristics. So yeah, they agree with us that outward appearance is important, but it's really the whole package.
Yeah.
So you got to have the whole package. Everything has to sum up to at least the baseline. But now this makes me think, what if, I'm going to flip this on its ear a bit. Have you dated someone that was physically attractive, like considerably physically attractive? Were their insides ugly? Was that the balance out, or how did that go? How did that net out?
So, Jasmine, as you know, I have dated everybody, including 93% of the borough of Brooklyn. Shout out to all of you.
Heyo.
Brooklyn, what's good? Bushwick, nah, I mean. But yeah. So I've dated a bunch of people, and I've definitely been in that situation too, where yes, I'm with this super attractive dude, who, in my eyes, I might think he's even more attractive than me, but his personality, it's like, okay, you are attractive because you are a terrible person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like I feel like,
Oh.
I feel like you're supposed to find this happy medium, but I don't necessarily know that it's out there, because it's like, how do I know that I'm going to meet this person who is on par with my level of physical attractiveness, but is also like on par with, being a good person or like an inherently decent person.
Mm-hmm. On my end of things, like, I've dated someone who was just gorgeous. Like, everything that I'm looking for in a person. Like, love for food, love for travel, beautiful, tall, broad, all those good things. Had, like, everything that you would want in a mate. Like, good credit, sensible money management, has a great job, like, is, like, perfect on paper, perfect in picture, but insides were just terrible, between, like, self-conscious issues, between anger and aggression, and just, like, fear of seeking out therapy when he did need therapy. Like, when you sum it all up, like, all of the attributes, he didn't meet the baseline. So, like, the beauty helped.
Right.
It definitely helped. But once you sum everything up, like, it wasn't something that I could live with healthily. Test drive was okay.
Oh, God, that damn test drive.
And if you don't know what that means, go head on over to Cuffin season episode 6.
Yeah, episode 6. We'll clue you in. We'll clue you in.
Yes.
But I feel like also, you know, when someone's, like, substantially more attractive than, you know, maybe people you've dated in the past, I think that it almost, how do I say this? It masks a lot of things, right? Like, I think that it's a lot easier to overlook things when you're dating someone who's more attractive. You're like, oh, he just did this really annoying thing that I would have lost it on this other guy for. But you know what? I'm going to let it slide.
But since he's cute.
Exactly.
He's fine, so it's okay.
Exactly. You know, and it's just, it's interesting to me. And it then, you know, to kind of reverse it, again, it almost makes me think, like, hey, what if the situation was reversed, right? Mm. Like, what if I was the person who was ugly, so to speak, or I was the person who was less attractive? Like, how does that factor into things?
I think that, I know that I'm not an 8 to everyone. Shout out to the Pacific Northwest. Y'all don't like them thick. Yeah.
Man, shout out to the West Coast in general. Like, y'all show no love. I'm going back east. Holla.
Bye. Where people love me and all my curves. Thank you. But yeah, like, I think of, like, I try to think of myself, like, on a whole. Like, I'm funny, I'm mature, I'm driven, I'm passionate, I have decent credit, I am all about my money and getting my coins, so there's no, like, lounging around and being a bum for me. Like, I'm getting it. So I think holistically, like, I'm a good package. Outside of, like, if you were blind and you didn't care about beauty, like, I know I'm a catch. But if, you know, there's some attributes here that you don't like, I still think that I am a catch because of all the things that are not dependent upon outside appearances. I can understand if someone didn't want to swipe right on me because I may not be what they're looking for, just from appearance. Right. And, you know, I get that. That's one less person for me to waste my time on.
Facts.
What about you? How do you feel about that? Like, say you were the Quasimodo. How would you feel about it?
Yo! Not the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
He wasn't beautiful, but Esmeralda, well, he loved Esmeralda. I don't know if was that an unrequited love? It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
I don't know. It's been a long time. But see, that's the thing about these Disney movies. They really play tricks on us because you've got those situations. And maybe that's why we run into this issue, right? Because we've got those situations and then you've got the Beauty and the Beast situation.
Right. It was like, they literally called him a beast.
He's literally a beast. And then, you know, they make Belle put in all this hard work. Like, Belle is out here grinding for this man. And ultimately, you know, she is rewarded with this Prince Charming.
Who is fine.
And
he rich.
He's rich. He has a castle. Come on.
And he got a library.
Facts.
And you know how much he loved books. So, like, it's perfect. He was perfect on the inside. All that stuff on the inside was so good.
Exactly. It was all so good. But, I mean, yeah, you know, back to your point. I get it. You know, I'm not going to be an 8, a 9, a 10, a 14 to everybody. You know, like, if I'm keeping it a buck or trill, which I typically do, I'm probably much more attracted to men on the East Coast than I am to men on the West Coast because, you know, I'm Black. And that, at least from my experience, there's been some pushback with that on the West Coast.
Yeah.
You know, I do have a body. I'm not really into the superficial, cake all the makeup on, contour my face, my neck, my ears, everything. Like, I'm just me.
Don't forget your chest and your boobs. Don't forget those.
Oh, yeah, girl. Oh, yeah, gotta give myself some cleavage for these already huge tatas.
Right.
But, you know, like, I might not be for everybody, and I think that's kind of the point, you know, back to your point. I do have some other, to quote eHarmony, compensating qualities, but at the same time, I say this, and old boy who wanted to go on a date with me probably says the same thing to himself.
Where's that mind-blown gift at? Just, are we overcompensating our compensating qualities?
Exactly.
Damn.
Are we overcompensating? Are we thinking that we're far more overqualified than we actually are in the grand scheme of things? I mean, because obviously there's some bias there.
Because, you know, I've been with this body for 30 whole years, so I know it inside and out.
Pun intended.
Ew.
Exactly. You know, so it's like, you know, keeping these things in mind and knowing that we might not be for everybody. Everybody might not be for us. Are we missing out by overlooking some of these uglies? That's a poor term to use. Are we missing out by overlooking some of these people who might not necessarily be the most attractive to us, but, you know, might kind of be compensating in the same ways that we do when we come across people who we might think are more attractive?
Yeah. I would have to say we probably are missing out. We probably are. Like, I try to think of, like, people who not necessarily glowed up, but just showed to be, like, great on the inside and the outside. So, for example, Bill Gates. I can't say that he was a looker when he was younger.
Right.
I've seen some photos. If he was on Tinder at the same time as me, I probably would have swiped left. I'm just going to keep it 100. But look at him now. Like, he has, like, this awesome foundation. He's such a good father. He's like the richest guy in the world. So the wealth and the ambition and all that goes into that is definitely a compensating factor. Hello. But he also seems to be a good person. And I've never heard anything bad coming from people who have interacted with him. They only speak the highest of him. And it's like, dang, like, I could easily be missing out on that on every person that I've left swiped on Tinder. Easily. What about you? Do you feel the same way? Do you think you're missing out?
So, I mean, it's hard for me to answer that question because I think that we're probably missing out on some good guys, but not all. Because realistically, it's probably possible that we're missing out on a few, but we could also be settling by going with some of these guys who are a little bit less attractive.
Yeah.
I mean, does that make me a superficial ass bitch? I don't know. What do you think?
No, I don't think so. Because, you know, like, in my experiences with settling, oh gosh, I said that. In my experience with going, not with conventional beauty, against the grain, the compensating factors, thank you, eHarmony, weren't there to make me feel good about the relationship or spending time with this person. So, and it's not guaranteed that just because you are, it's not like a sliding scale. Like, the uglier you become to the person, that doesn't mean that, like, your inside qualities are improved. Like, you can still just be a jumbled bag of zeros inside and out. So it's, you may be missing out, but I don't think you should settle. Like, it really comes down to what you need. And that's inside and outside. You're going to need the physical attractiveness to have a sexual relationship with someone. Are you sexually attracted to someone who is not a 6, 7, 8? Are you going to be attracted to somebody who, like, stimulates you mentally and not just physically? Like, it's all about what you need. So as long as you're not sacrificing your wants and your needs and your desires, it's fine. You gotta put number one. You gotta put you first. It's all about number one, because no one's gonna look out for you like you, and no one knows what you want and what you need and what you require and desire like you.
Yeah, I get that.
I wouldn't say you're a superficial ass bitch, because you don't have it written in your Tinder profile, 7s or above only.
Not yet, anyway. No.
Right. Excuse me while I edit my profile. Thank you. And I don't think you're a superficial ass bitch, but I just think, yeah, wow, SA. I don't think you're an SAB, but I do think, and I know that you know what you need better than anyone else. And if that's a high percentage points in physical attractiveness and outward appearance, then that is what you need. That doesn't make you superficial at all.
Okay.
But now that I say that, now I'm curious to know, like, how did things go with John? Like, you said you canceled the date, right?
Right.
Did you like block him, cut out communication, tell him he ugly, tell him stop catfishing people on Tinder? Like, what did you say?
Oh my goodness. So
I know, like, that was extra.
I'm bold. I know. And I can be extra, but I mean, no. So what ended up happening was, I was a couple hours away from the date. I ended up texting him and just saying, hey, something came up, blah, 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 not going to be able to make it. And I was like, but you have a couple hours left. I'm sure you can hop on Tinder and, like, real quick find somebody else to go out with tonight. Like, that was just kind of, like, the way I approached it.
Mm-hmm.
And his response was like, oh, that really sucks. I was really looking forward to meeting you tonight. And it was, like, a very genuine response. And I felt so bad at that point that I'm just like, oh, God, like, I'm a horrible person. But I was like, whatever. And, we actually ended up on the phone later that evening. I gave him some type of BS excuse. I don't even remember what it was. But we ended up on the phone later that evening, and we were talking for a long time. And as we talked more and more, I was just like, you know what? Like, maybe I should give him another chance, And it was to the point where he was even like, hey, so what are you doing Sunday, which was the next day? Like, are you doing anything? Do you want to try to reschedule? Blah, blah, blah. And I was honestly considering
like,
it.
yeah, those compensating qualities are really coming up there, huh?
They were. And so it was just really hard for me. And I was really considering it. However, full disclosure, a few things ended up transpiring. I got a little bit more information, a little more insight into him and some of the things he's into and not into.
Oh.
And long story short, we are no longer in contact.
So it
dun dun dun. Dun.
So like, think of it this way. Like, you, by curving him from that date on Saturday, you would have saved yourself from, like, wasting your time and energy on somebody who wasn't the total package, whose compensating qualities were not high enough to outweigh the outward appearance qualities.
Well, yeah, and I would have saved myself some public embarrassment, because who wants to be seen out with a four?
Gosh.
I'm just kidding.
Gosh.
I'm a terrible person. I'm a horrible person. I've accepted it. I know myself. # know yourself. # I'm looking at you, Drake.
Yes. Love you, boo.
I did save myself some time and energy, and maybe that's, a really good mechanism, is just kind of look at their appearance, and if you weed them out, you weed them out, and kind of don't go back. I think maybe me going back and just having that extended conversation and all of that was just kind of like perpetuating my indecisiveness between whether or not, I should talk to him because he's not as attractive. But, we see how that turned out. So, I don't know.
If I think about it, all right, if these are all the things that matter to me. Outward appearance, looks, physical attractiveness, that's one bucket. Then humor, comedy, culture, sense of enjoyment, internal qualities. Then kindness, respect, good human being, giving, all those good things. And then shared interest.
Yes.
So if all of those are scored equally, 25%, you need to get at least, like, an 80% for me. So if you got a 0 on outward appearance, no matter how good you were on the inside, in humor, shared interest, and just kindness and goodness of your heart, there's no score that's going to get, there's nothing you can do. There's no extra credit opportunities. The max you're going to get is 75%.
I like that.
So I think that, yeah. So, like, if I give myself the benefit of the doubt, like, if the person is a 5 or higher on the outside, then I'm willing to give it a try. But the moment that I see something that is, like, internally flawed or whatever, you go below 80 and we got to walk away. So you have to be downright perfect on the inside and a 5% on the outside. Anything lower than that, we can't play. You can't play. Not here today.
That makes total sense.
That's just my philosophy. So if you guys out there know of any gentlemen that are here we go again. Soliciting.
Soliciting men per usual.
You know how I do. It is cuffing season and the roster's looking really sad.
What roster, girl?
Girl. Oh, it's a struggle. The struggle is real. But I do want to know from our listeners, like, have you guys ever been in this situation? Have you ever, like, are you going beneath your current ranking considerably? Did it work out? Do you have any horror stories like we do? Or let us know.
Yes, please let us know. You can hit us up on social media. You can, drop by our website, drop us a line. Mm-hmm. Let us know how it worked out. Because if you found Prince Charming and he was a solid 4 at best, then maybe there's hope for the 4s out here, and maybe I should start, I should start reevaluating.
Yeah, looking at them 4s, girl. Looking at them 4s.
Ugh, it just sounds so dismal.
It does. Is that out of 5? No, out of 10? Oh Lord. No. Oh. That's a 40%.
That's less than 50.
Like, you failed. That's a failing grade in school, y'all. Yeah. That was a good chat. Good chat. Hopefully you're not plagued too much by this anymore. You know that you are not alone.
Yeah, I think it's nice to know that I'm not alone. And I think it's nice to just kind of like put everything and all of my feelings out there and just kind of see like, okay, this is something normal that happens to other people, including people within my circle. Jasmin.
That's me.
So I think it's nice. I feel a little bit better about the situation.
Yeah. Is this going to change your Tinder habits? Are you going to swipe right where you would usually like hesitate before you swipe left? Keep it 100.
Well,
keep it a buck.
If I'm keeping it a bizzuck, probably not.
Oh.
Probably not. Just because it's Tinder. You know what I mean? So it's like you need to put your best foot forward, and I guess, by homeboy tricking me with his good pictures, that's what he was doing. He was like, oh, I'm gonna put my 8 pictures up because this is who I think I really am. And so hey, if you don't have the good sense to at least put your good angle hitting pictures up, then you're getting swiped to the left, bruh.
Yeah, that's fair. That kind of speaks to how much they care about trying to find a friend, a situation to enter into.
A friend, FWB.
Yes. Our wifey.
Something.
Or whatever you're using Tinder for. Whatever. Trying to find that person. If you're not really putting forth the effort here on a place that doesn't really matter, are you conserving that energy for places that do matter, or do you just give no fucks all the way around? Are you just really just not giving a fuck?
Good questions. Good
questions. Actually, speaking of not giving a fuck, we should probably talk about our sponsor, Audible.
Yes. So, before we wrap up this episode, we wanted to share a special offer with you, our lovely listeners. Our sponsor, Audible, is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service.
That is right. So, my segue, not that I'm not giving a fuck about Audible. Love Audible. Love. But
love them.
Love them so much. Thanks for being our sponsor. Oh my gosh. But I'm super excited because I'm going to start listening to The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's the counterintuitive approach to living a good life by Mark Manson. Hey. So, maybe those guys just aren't giving a fuck because they just don't give a fuck. Because, let's be honest, shit is fucked and we have to live with it.
Yeah, no, especially in this current climate. But we won't get into that because you already stopped me at the beginning of today's episode. Anyway, on that note, I am reading and or listening to The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl by Issa Rae. And I'm going to keep it real. This is not my first rodeo. I've read this book before. I loved it. It's just kind of touching on, Issa Rae's awkward life and how she came into her sexuality and how she was an internet hoe, right? Like, that's what she, self-identified as. So the book in and of itself is hilarious. I swear it's like somebody, looked at my life at the ages of 13 and 14 and started writing shit down. It's amazing.
I'm gonna have to read this book. I know, I'm the one person in the world who is a ABG fan and has not read the book.
What?
I know.
No.
I am so ashamed. So after I'm done with The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, I will give The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl a listen, and you should too, by going ahead and joining us with Audible. Go ahead and download your free audiobook today by going to audibletrial.com/EBPR podcast. Again, that is audibletrial.com/EBPR podcast for your free audiobook.
Yes, please do. Thank you all so much for listening today. If you're not already, please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on our latest episode each and every week.
That's right. We publish every Wednesday, but if you're just going through withdrawals and you need us a little more often than once a week, feel free to check us out on our website, ebprpodcast.com. We are there all the time. Social media links popping off. We in these streets.
Yes. Always in these streets. Nah, I mean.
All right, Dez. I'll talk with you later.
All right. Talk to you. Bye.
Bye.